A man's life changes when he helps a squirrel and her baby. The majority of us are under the impression that animals are stupid and have no intelligence. On the other hand, certain animals have a high level of intellect, and you would be astounded to learn about the behaviors that they engage in. In fact, there have been instances in which animals have attempted to communicate with people and ask for help from those individuals. Maybe you won't believe it, but it happened often. And today's video is also about an inspiring moment when a squirrel begged a man to help her baby, who was in trouble. So make sure to watch this video until the end to know the entire story, including how the squirrel persuaded the man to aid her and how he helped and saved her baby. Well, most of us are familiar with squirrels, and we've seen them running around in competition with one another, leaping from tree to tree, rattling the branches with their tails, but they don't often approach or come near humans. In fact, they would run away if humans got near to them or approached them. However, they also go to great lengths for their children when they are in danger. It all started when a squirrel baby became trapped in bushes and was spotted by a cat. Because the squirrel was unable to fight the cat and save her baby, he did something unexpected. The man who came across the squirrel was John, who had the habit of going for a walk every single day in the evening. During that time, he comes across a great variety of animals and rodents. Sometimes squirrels may jump around, but they will never interact with him in any way. It was a typical evening when John was out for a stroll and came upon a squirrel in the path of his travel that dashed out from a tree just in front of him. John was about to continue walking when he noticed the squirrel and decided to slow down and see what was going on. It was weird, since he knew that these creatures were very careful around people and avoided any close contact. The squirrel's repeated zigzag jumps in front of him showed that she was impatient. John slowed down when he saw what looked like the squirrel's pain and looked into what was going on. Her actions were clear to him because she kept doing the same things toward him. It seemed like she wanted to tell him something important but couldn't find the right way to communicate with him. The first thought that entered his head was that she might be upset and looking for something to eat. As he searched his pocket, he found some peanuts. But strangely, the squirrel didn't take the food that was presented to her and continued to sprint in front of him even after he had offered it to her. That made him more anxious and curious, as he wasn't expecting that. It was clear that she needed something else, and he got a clue that maybe she needed help from him. The man did not move while waiting to see what action the squirrel would take next. As soon as it had gathered enough courage, the squirrel jumped directly in front of John's foot and then sprinted off to a nearby oak tree that was considerably larger than the others. That time, the man's curiosity was stimulated to the point where he decided to follow the squirrel. So he started following the squirrel's footsteps and arrived at the location where she had stopped. There, he saw a little squirrel taking refuge in the shadows. As John came closer, he noted that the little squirrel was injured on one leg. It was physically impossible for him to move around. Suddenly, John heard some noises in the nearby bushes, and when he took a peek at the bushes, he spotted a gray cat hiding in the bushes and keeping an eye on them. John then realized what was happening. What really happened there was that a cat had attacked the squirrel baby, but somehow it was able to escape with only an injured leg. But the cat was still waiting there for him to grab him as soon as he came out. The mother had been able to stop the first attack, but now she wanted help from someone else. The cat was holding its breath and waiting for the perfect opportunity to pounce on its victim and finish it off before it did so. On the other hand, the squirrel's mother wasn't ready to give up and sought help from John, as she was unable to get rid of the predator on her own. That's why, when she saw John walking nearby, she jumped toward him to attract him to the situation. Maybe you won't have an idea, but aside from humans, animals will also go to great lengths to protect their young and make sure that they'll still be around in the future. After seeing the agony in the eyes of the squirrel baby, John takes a fallen stick from the tree and is able to scare the cat away. The cat was adamant, and at first it stopped at a little bit of a distance, but then John threw the stick toward her, on which the cat got scared and ran away to disappear into the faraway bushes. After taking care of the cat, John then calls for animal rescue. The animal rescue team was able to get there swiftly thanks to the cat being scared away before they arrived. The animal rescue crew arrived at the scene within a few minutes and took the young squirrel into their care. The newborn squirrel was obviously in a lot of agony, so the rescue crew started treating her right away and gave her a bandage on her leg. Any squirrel that is thought to have come into contact with a cat requires a proper antibiotic treatment. The bacterium known as Pasteurella, which is found in the saliva of cats, is capable of ending the life of an otherwise healthy squirrel in just one day if it's not treated. John was also there all the time when the animal care guys were treating the baby squirrel, and he could see the love and affection in her mother's eyes for him the entire time. It appeared as if the squirrel was thanking him, but that poor animal was unable to communicate her thoughts to John, so all she could do was stare at John with tears in her eyes. Obviously, John was able to comprehend how thankful the squirrel's mother was. In fact, the squirrel was a very, very bright animal. The medical team, after giving the baby squirrel a thorough checkup, moved it and its mother to a safer place in the park. They both stared for the last time at John after the animal care team had left them in the nearby tree, thanking him in their own way with cute expressions on their faces, and then climbed toward the tree. It was a very inspiring moment for John, and the situation has deeply moved him. In fact, he grew so attached to the squirrel family that he made the decision to pay the squirrel family a surprise visit every so often to check on them and see whether everything was going well in their lives. And now, whenever John visits that tree where the squirrel and her baby are, they both jump down from the tree toward him when they notice him and come near him. John also makes sure to bring some treats for them every time he visits them. Both the mother and the baby squirrel now take the peanut and stare at John while thanking him in their own way, and then go back to their tree, taking the peanuts with them. In short, that was a very memorable day in John's life, the day he first saw the squirrel when she came to him for help. Now, John is a member of the squad that saves animals and helps them relocate to safe places. John has been able to help many other animals since then, while also taking care of the squirrel and her baby. All credit for John's active participation in animal protection social groups goes to the squirrel, who opened up John's heart to the reality that animals, like humans, have souls and require a lot of help and kindness. And in return, they're also able to give humans much love and appreciation. Animals have many interesting ways to surprise us. They're entertaining to watch, while simultaneously imparting valuable life lessons to us if we open up our eyes to them and notice their affection for us. Well guys, that's all for today's video and the story about the squirrel and her baby and how a kind person, John, stopped the cat from eating the squirrel family. There are a lot of stories like this one out there. If you know of a similar story, please share with us about it in the comment section below. And also, what's your favorite animal? Apart from squirrels, what other animals do you think are much more intelligent and can do the same thing this squirrel has done? Tell us your views in the comment section as well. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and ring that bell icon to be notified of when the next one drops. And with that, we'll see you next time.